So, looking at those situations, let's pick one of them. Let's pick the first one, and let's draw it. All right. We'll write it out in order. So, graph 1A. Which statement did that go with? Which statement did it go with? C, no.
F. Oh.
F again. Let's write that down. All right, so you're going to write that down. So what we are doing, remember we are talking about constant change. Seems to be a bit of a... Tell him to shut up, Nick. That's not very polite. Right. So, we are going with, it should go with F, yeah? So, let's write it down. The temperature was 0 degrees C, okay? And is increasing by 2 degrees C every hour. So that's the first thing that we want. So we've got a situation. So we were talking about constant change, which suggests that, remember we talked yesterday, the only thing that stays the same is the fact that everything changes. Can you see where the constant but change is in that statement? So where's the change?
Increasing by 2
So it goes up. Yeah, the temperature is increasing. There's the change. Where's the constant in that change?
It's
No.
increasing by
Temperature.
Is what?
increasing.
Yeah, which is? Good. It's constantly increasing by 2. Right? So the change is the fact that it's increasing. The constant is that it's changing by 2 every time. It's not increasing by 2, then 3, then 8, then 1, then 9, then 5. It's always 2. And that's where we get our straight line from. Now the next stage then is, from this we can create a set of values that go together. So I'm going to say X and Y just because we put this in the book and we know what's the first temperature? 0. After 0 time, it's... So this is the time, isn't it?
5.
In hours. And this is the Y was the temperature in Celsius. All right? So I am now, this is where we're creating a set of values in a table. And it says increasing by 2 every hour. So at 0 hours, that's the initial temperature, yeah? What's the next value I can put in?
2.
5.
2.
Well,
0.
I could, but
You put 1 and then 1.
1 hour, yeah, after 1 hour, after 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, and so on. What's the temperature after 1 hour?
0.5. 2. 1. 1. Sorry. 2.
After 2 hours?
4, 6, 8, 10.
Okay. So it is constantly changing by 2. It is constantly going up by 2. All right. So I've now got my table of values. Okay? Is that all right with everyone? Now, what I want to do, I could happily deal with that information, but what I want to do is, it's nice to be able to represent this in a different way, like on a graph. It's easier to read. So what we then do is we start writing it in a different form, which is set of coordinates, because coordinates can go on a graph. So my first coordinate will be 0 and 0. Yeah? The second coordinate will be?
0. It will be 1, 2.
1, 2.
And then 2, 4.
2, 4.
4, 6.
3, 6.
3, 6. Yeah.
4, 8.
And then 5, 10.
5, 10. Is it because we're just before lunch and some of you haven't got enough sugar in your system? So is that what, you know? These, by the way, I'm going to introduce a new name for you. They are coordinates, okay? But they are also called ordered pairs. And they're called ordered pairs because they're pairs that go together. They are matched together because of the situation we're in. And the situation is the temperature is going up by 2 degrees every time. Okay? Now I'm going to put, and this is where the important bit of understanding comes from. Now I'm going to put these in a graph. Okay? So when I plan my graph, what values for my x and y axis do they need to go to? So I don't just draw a cross in the middle of my page. I look at my table of values and decide where does it need to go. So I look at my x values and I can say what's the minimum value of x that I need? 0. What's the y minimum?
0.
0. What's the x maximum?
5.
5.
Yes, I got something.
What's the y maximum? 10. So now I can draw my set of axes accordingly, okay? So I know that I need to make it fit. So I'm going to go with, I'm going to actually start at the top, not at the bottom. So I'm going to start with 10, I'm going to go 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And I put it there. I haven't drawn my line in, just in case I need to make any changes. I'm not going to need to. I'm going to put in now, I can start at 0, the x, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you'll notice that my x values are spaced out more than my y values. Does that matter?
No.
No. Good. It has to be the same along each axis, but not the same. Both axes don't have to be the same. All right? Now I should label them. So this is my y-axis and this is my... But actually we have different axes. So what is that? That is the...
Temperature.
Temperature in Celsius, and this is time in hours, isn't it? Okay? We should always label it. Now, and this is the bit I wanted to get to, we've got to plot our points. So, what's the first coordinate point I know? 0, 0. Then the next one is 1, 2. Then it's 2, 4, 3, 6, 4, 8. Okay. Now, make sure you've got to that point. Okay, so we've plotted those individual points. Now this is a very, very important bit. Okay? What's different about mine and what's in the book?
It doesn't have a line.
That's what I'm after. It doesn't have a line. Thank you. It does look a bit different, and you'll notice that if you space your axes out differently, your line will look different, but it doesn't mean it is different. All right, it's how you read it that matters. But the question is, why is there no line? And am I allowed to put a line? Well, obviously, yes, because they've done one in the book. But why am I allowed to put a line is the question.
Because it shows the
Sort of, not quite. Doesn't quite answer, Michael, but you're not wrong. Okay. Sometimes, and this is important, graphs, you shouldn't just draw lines. Okay? You should not draw lines all the time. Sometimes graphs will only be individual points. Pardon? No, I'm thinking it still could be line, it could just be points. Girls, please, I've had enough of the constant bickering like while I'm doing it, while I'm teaching. Those points represent certain values. Now what's the situation about again? Every hour the temperature goes up 2 degrees, yeah? Alright. A line on a graph is not actually a line. A line is an infinite number of other points. So am I allowed to put a point here? Why? What does it represent?
Oh, because in 1.5 hours, it's...
And does that make sense?
Yeah, because it follows
If the temperature goes up 2 degrees every hour, it makes sense every half an hour it goes up.
By 1.
So I can actually put points here, here, here. Yeah? Am I allowed to put a point there?
No.
Yes.
That would be every 15 minutes. Am I allowed to put a point here?
Yes.
Right. Sometimes these values aren't actually there. But I know if I put an infinite number of little points, what is it going to end up looking like? A line. So you can finish yours off with a line. And once you're finished that off, then we can go and have some lunch. Next time, bring a ruler.